post that she knows that I'm almost famous. Neck bang bang, and we dangerous remaining. Time steady changing. I don't know these niggas, and I don't wanna know them. This girl just want that big moment, so she can blow it. That's bogus, but I don't tell her what's what. Don't wanna be stuck, cause she's so starstruck. Wanna be around us, but I just rather play the field, rather keep it real, rather take you out, rather tell you how I feel, and show you that this game is for real. Cause I know that you're in love, you're looking for a star. Walked all this way to find a man with a car, hanging at the bar, champagne, caviar. No, you never seen a nigga like this, like this. You never seen a nigga like this, like this. Girl, you never seen a nigga like this, like this. You never seen a nigga like this, like this. Girl, you never seen a nigga like this. So quit it, you spend seconds, hours, minutes working on your fitness for a nigga to witness. Go quit it, I ain't tripping. You ain't the baddest bitch I'll ever meet. The homie said he already beat in the backseat of a Honda Jeep. So the whole shit you can really keep him so cold on him, so cold on him. You homies in the feds, cause bitch niggas done told on him. Seen them boys in the streets and did a lot more, just stole on them. Niggas know the pen when they feel the heat of that stove on them. Send the hell the Lord don't want them. When these girls from church Sunday morning, Saturday was out hoeing. Show me a worthy opponent, show me a match. No nigga, I face mine. Now my mind, no hang time. That's MJ on the baseline. Girl, I know that you're in love, you're looking for a star. Walked all this way to find a man with a car, hanging at the bar, champagne, caviar. No, you never seen a nigga like this.
Niggas in the room wanna see my cars on flatbed. Hey, this is a recession, selling that crack, yeah. Niggas selling super sour bionic glue, and got Superman powers when I'm stressed new. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. Yeah. Yeah. John Dillinger shit. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga from the project. Yeah. Yeah. John Dillinger shit. Niggas in the hood wanna see my cars on flatbed. Hey, this a recession, selling that crack, yeah. Niggas selling super sour bionic glue, and got Superman powers when I'm stressed new. New Corvette looking like a transformer. No seatbelt screaming on my damn lawyer. Damn, I'm knee deep in the projects, and Hollywood ain't accepting no nigga.
evening. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Front Line Blacc News. I'm your host, Chan Cromer. We're joined with Lady Cherry in the background. And looks like Shabaka San Corey will be joining us here shortly, our West Coast correspondent for Frontline Campaign. And on tonight's show, we'll be discussing several things, Black family. The first thing, of course, is tangibles. This is the year and the decade of tangibles. We are not letting up on our tangibles. So any politician not seeking your vote demands something tangible for your vote. Now, the next thing we'll be discussing is New York City Mayor Eric Adams launches $5 million initiative to support illegal immigrants in New York City. The next topic, still waiting on you damn Biden supporters to call to Shabaka's Bucket Spence Enhanced. Biden's dope fiend son, Hunter Biden, is in trouble again. Would he be treated the same if he was black and not the president's son? James Ray III dies in jail while awaiting sentencing. The next thing we'll be discussing is, we told you that Stop Asian Hate rhetoric and nonsense was an attack on black people. Where is our anti-black hate crime bill? Biden and Copmala Harris. The next topic is Democrats keep finding ways to say no or not right now on paying reparations. Ice Cube says, keep your reparations. It's about access to capital, and we're being shut out. The next topic will be Dirty South legend, Houston legend, Big Pokey from Screwed Up Clicc dies on stage, R.I.P. And our Unhoused Neighbor News and our Unhoused Neighbor Sweeps. So while I'm waiting on our West Coast correspondent to get in the building, once again, Black family, this is the year and the decade of tangibles. If any politician not seeking your vote demands something tangible for your vote. Stop just voting because the white-owned media told you to go out and vote. Vote because you have an agenda and a cause. And that agenda is the Black agenda. And that cause is reparations. $100 trillion for past, present, and future atrocities that have been brought against our people and continue to be brought against our people in 2023. So, any politician, local, state, federal, demands something tangible for your vote. Otherwise, don't vote for these Muslims. They're not going to do nothing specifically for you. They're not going to do anything tangible for you. Why waste your time, Black family? Vote because you have an agenda and a cause, period. So that's all we're stressing here on Frontline Blacc News. We're not telling you who to vote for or what to vote for. We're saying, look, if you're going to vote, get something tangible for it. It's an exchange. Politics is an exchange, not a gift. Quid pro quo. If I give you my vote, I want something tangible in return for said vote. Every other group understands this. But for some reason, Black people do not understand it. Hold on, Lady Cherry. I got to do the tangibles 2020. So back in 2020, brother by the name of Tariq Nasheed, shout out to Tariq Nasheed. I hope we can go to LA sometime soon so we can check out the Hidden History Museum that I donated to some months back, almost a year ago now. So brother by the name of Tariq Nasheed came up with the hashtag Tangibles 2020. And in it, he was detailing what foundational Black Americans, as the Black people that built this country, the people that were enslaved and made chattel for over 250 years, and in Jim Crow for another 150 years, what they're going to demand from the political system. So, Tangibles 2020. Nothing's changed but the year. Everything else remains the same. So since 2020 has already came and gone, the next presidential elections are in 2024. So we're going to change 2020 to 2024. Everything else remains the same. So the 2024 presidential elections are coming up. And foundational Black Americans are going to reject the 50-year-old malign neglect policy that has been implemented by the political system. This malign neglect policy mandates that Black Americans should be ignored and only mentioned in vague and non-specific terms. Lumping foundational Black Americans in the groups of minorities, immigrants, people of color, etc., has only hindered the progress of Black Americans as a group while providing tangible benefits for other groups. In this election cycle, meaning the 2024 election cycle, Black Americans are going to insist that our needs are swiftly met by politicians who are seeking our vote. Foundational Black Americans want tangible benefits, specifically for us. We do not want trickle-down secondary benefits that are provided for every group. Every group has not been systematically marginalized and disenfranchised in every area of society as foundational Black Americans. So we refuse to be lumped in with groups that often assist in the exploitation and disenfranchisement of Black Americans. So politicians must offer tangibles, specifically the foundational Black Americans, or we simply will not vote for them. Be sure to spread this message far and wide on social media using the hashtag tangibles2020. And since it's 2023, it's tangibles 2023. And next year, it'll be tangibles 2024. There's our West Coast correspondent. Greetings, Shabaka.
Hey, what's going on with you, man? How you doing? Can you hear me on this headset?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, awesome. So I just finished up with the tangibles. What are your thoughts on the tangibles?
Oh, absolutely. And by all means, every daggone dime and then some. As for the simple fact is that we built this country, of our sweat and our blood and what have you, and they all acting like, well, you guys supposed to be so happy and sing and be some good homie kind of niggas, you know what I'm saying? Because you over here in the good USFA, that we built up. Yeah, you see what I mean? And then even the reparations even more so. Now, man, is because this is getting ridiculous. It's because off the information that I came across recently, you got less and less Black women marrying Black men.
Oh,
and
no.
so and then a good friend of mine on Facebook for a number of years, relayed this information to me. And what it is, man, I don't understand what's with these Negroes today, man. They want to sit up there and be everything but themselves. You see what I'm saying? And particularly the women. And this is part of, as you and I, have discussed over the years, the social engineering that Dr. Francis Quest Welsing was talking about 50 years ago. Stuff is coming into fruition now. And the sad part about it is that like-minded individuals, such as ourselves and who are conscious, okay, they're shadow banning us, to the utmost. And they got this damn artificial intelligence and they keying on our keywords over the net, as you know. And, they banned you, they banned me, they banned a whole lot of other conscious brothers out there. And then also too, I came across some diabolical information, more reason for the tangibles. That sick son of a bitch, Bill Gates, is now going to make synthetic meat.
Oh my God.
Meat, yeah.
Mm.
Do you know what that means?
That means GMOs.
Yeah. Oh no, it's beyond the GMOs, man. He took it to the next level. Okay, what he's doing is this is why he's buying up all the farmland is because he's gone beyond GMOs with the seedings. He's making those synthetic as well too. So he's going to have synthetic poultry products, synthetic meat products, and what have you. You're going to have I'm pretty sure, synthetic vegetables and fruits and stuff like that, which is essential, for your biochemistry. Except, like I said, over the years, man, when I keep seeing these damn biotech firms and all them bastards see riding on them bar trains with their little briefcases and laptops and all that type of shit, you know, they all part, you know what I mean? And it's a case of the blind leading the blind, because everybody, is money hungry for it. And then you get these Vemic Ramaswamy type of individuals, with that caste system. And it's pretty much, man, is that everybody hates us. And the real reason that they hate us is because they cannot be us. And
Right.
then since we're on live, Las Vegas is creeping up, to 96, 98 degrees
Hey,
of the week. We're going to be hitting triple.
you're supposed to be in a triple
Uh,
digits the rest of the week.
yeah, exactly. So it's about right. You know what I'm saying? So we're inviting all your Bill Gates, Joe Gibsons, and what have you, and come out here and let your reptilian asses burn up. And
Yeah.
then your counterparts, they're coming out at night. The snakes, and then I always ask yourself, people, color is a snake on its belly.
Mm. What color is it?
Uh-huh.
White.
Precisely my point. Move to the head of the class, young man. You know what I'm saying? Precisely my point. You see? And then, and they hate us because they cannot be us. You see what I mean? That's why they hate us so. Say, in doing extensive research, then I was in contact with a good Facebook friend of mine who helped me rebuild the Shabaka page, and she went through above and beyond, giving me ideas and tips like that. Okay. And she's straight RBG for real, all the way for real. And so, and what they would do is that they would attack this sister, on the internet, on social media and what have you. But she holds her own with them. You know what I mean? And what the sister did, that they were coming at her with so much hate, she went to the pistol range, busted off about 5 clips, and she took the picture of the silhouette that she was shooting at and put it up on her wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. You see,
Mm.
and this is what is so sad. About our young men, coming up effeminized. The Hollywood media shit that they doing, and then Tyler Perry. He's trying to do something right, as we spoke on the last episode of Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. Uh, trying to buy, BET and what have you. And hopefully they'll get it black owned, but they, throwing a bunch of hurdles at him, to go over. So I wish the brother much success in doing it, and I hope the quality of the films that he's from there will be all on the positive. And this alphabetized agenda, we got to countermand that shit, man.
All right.
Really.
So, is that your thoughts on the tangibles?
Oh, yes, sir. The more, and all of what I just said is the more reason for the tangibles, okay, is because they want to sweep it up under the rug, which they should not. And with them willing to sweep it up under the rug goes to show is that they don't really believe in the integration that Dr. King was trying to push. And as we all know, prior to his murder, uh, he stated that he had led his people into a burning house, and seeing this type of shit that's currently going on in these times proves his point
To
further.
get our check.
Okay, say that again, Brother Jay.
Yeah, we're coming to Washington to get our check.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. See what I mean? Absolutely. You say, and then of course too, and then the thing is when you pull the skin off these reptilians, okay, like we did with Joe Gibson. And and I'm going to say everybody call up his show the next time and let him have it because he got very, very disrespectful with us. But however, that supports our premise all along. Okay, is that these individuals, they are full of shit with that. Say
Yeah,
they love us as long as we are hating ourselves. They hate us when we become conscious and militant. And the first rappers in 1970 was a crew called The Last Poets.
yep,
And if anybody is familiar with The Last Poets, they got one of their poems, I'm going to say, is called Niggas Are Scared of Revolution. And just like how you got the photograph up there, there's a new film.
I would play it,
Uh,
but they'll probably give me a copyright strike. I
oh,
would,
but then keep in mind, then they'll kick us off of Facebook as well too. And from what I know is to avoid the copyright strike, you just simply got to state that this is the material by this artist. You see, so you're definitely giving them their credit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And just like when I did the video from Hollywood last year. And that's when I told them in very colorful language, I don't own the rights to none of this bullshit that you're seeing right here because you sons of bitches are not going to get them damn high powered lawyers out of Beverly Hills and Century City on me. I say,
I guess my appeal got approved because they're letting me stream on Front Line Blacc News YouTube page again.
oh, okay. And keep in mind, I really wish that there was a way we could haul all those assholes in the federal courts, okay, for First Amendment rights violations.
Yeah,
However, uh, with us being black people, ADOS, FBA, Africans in America, you know what I'm saying? They'll figure a way to get around that. That's why we would need a higher power legal staff to do it. You see what I'm saying?
hmm
And keep in mind is that when the Proud Boys showed up over there when Cat Brooks was speaking at the MacArthur BART station a few years ago where little Nia was murdered, okay, the Proud Boys came up there, was trying to mock Cat Brooks, mock the whole black community. They got their asses whipped, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And as well as they should, you see. And now, Dr. King was a man who stressed nonviolence, which is great, which is beautiful, but there's a big difference between nonviolence and self-defense.
right,
A big difference. And this is what Dr. Newton had emphasized in his memoirs. You see what I mean?
yep,
And then he brought the U.S. government, face to face with its hypocrisy. I mean, let's look at the dump as in human shit. And I always want to
it's about to got it.
emphasize that.
So, is that it for
Okay.
the time?
Oh, yes, sir. Definitely all for the tangibles, all the way from now to 2100.
That's right. Tangibles 2023 100. The man so
Yes, sir.
So our
Oh,
next topic
absolutely.
is
Yes, sir.
Eric Adams. Ugh. New York City Mayor Eric Adams um, launches $5 million initiative to support illegal immigrants in New York City. This, if I'm not mistaken, this is the second time he's done this since he's been the mayor of
He-
New York.
then they need to. Then what they need to do is that they need in the city of New York, particularly in Harlem, and in the black community, they need to start the procedure to recall his ass.
I agree. He needs to be recalled. And there's him a chief in
Yes,
the world.
oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. Ass scratching Negro, skinning and grinning, yassa bossing. You know what I'm saying? These Negroes are dangerous to us black families.
Yep.
Now, but the sad part about it is just to go to show you how ingrained this self-hatred is. He might not be responsible due to his mental disease of cognitive dissonance.
Mm. No, he's definitely
But
responsible. He's the
in other
mayor of
words, he knows what he's doing.
yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's the mayor of the
Okay.
largest city in the United States.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what he's
Yeah.
doing. He's a former
Yeah.
pig, and he's on the
Oh,
Democratic
okay.
and he's a Democratic shield, so he's doing whatever the Democrats tell him to do.
Right.
So this article from Tom Handy, which looks like a brother, um, from 3 days ago, Mayor Michael said might as well be Michael Hancock. Mayor Eric
Uh-huh.
Adams launches $5 million initiative to support asylum seekers in New York. New
That's
York City
incredible.
is feeling the brunt of the United States policy supporting migrants. Mayor Eric Adams has repeatedly asked for support from President Joe Biden, and he has
Uh-huh.
been met with little to no response since Texas bused migrants here last summer. Now,
Okay.
regarding to over 40,000 migrants, illegal immigrants, Mayor Adams continues to search for answers to address this problem. Funding and space for housing are low. So now Adams moves in another new direction. On Tuesday, June 20th, Mayor Adams announced the Asylum Application Help Center to help support migrants. The expected cost is $5 million. Mayor Adams
Damn.
stated the Asylum Application Help Center will assist the asylum seekers in New York City through the complex federal immigration process, bringing them one step closer to being eligible for work authorization and the ability to support themselves. As well as
And of course,
this buffer class shit. So they're gonna put these groups
yeah.
above us, and when it's time for the revolution, we're gonna have to go through them before we can get to master. We must act
Yeah.
swiftly to ensure the well-being of the thousands of migrants whose deadline to submit an asylum application is fast approaching, and this center will help us do that. Oh my God. The asylum
Yeah.
application help will see migrants by appointment only from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The location for the center is in the American Red Cross Greater New York headquarters in Midtown Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Deputy Mayor
And man,
for Health. Hold on, Shabaka, I gotta finish the article. Deputy Mayor
yeah.
for Health and Human Services, Ann Williams Isom, added, legal services are a critical next step in the city's approach to support people seeking asylum as they work to achieve independence. The city is making important investments in the Asylum Application Help Center in partnership with a number of private sector partners. Thank you to all the firms, legal professionals, and everyday New Yorkers that are and will be part of this effort. Oh my God.
That is incredible.
If we all work together with a national strategy for a national issue, we can address this humanitarian crisis. Oh my God.
I
Mayor
know,
Adams
it's sickening, man.
said the number of migrants is not decreasing. I guess I'll play this video.
Okay.
Forbes breaking news.
I just want to do one correction, one error I made. I will move you out of that road. Jeff Mays will take that seat. You know, he'll be part of that road. No, to the front. We have to clearly the numbers are not subsiding. You know, I don't think people really dealing with this issue.
This clown reminds me of Stymie on Little Rascals.
People think it's not still a crisis. We're still navigating upstate. The judge is still dealing with lawsuits up there. We're still trying to find partners. We're still trying to get the funding. And we have to find a cheaper way to do this because it's just not sustainable. And we're looking at many ways of how we're going to deal with that influx of migrant and asylum seekers. Our goal is to get people into permanent housing. That's our goal. We can't accomplish that goal if the inventory is not there. The inventory comes with the extension of 421A, with lifting the FAR, with doing a hotel conversion, with building around transit hubs. People often look at the city and say build more without realizing the beginning process of building more starts upstate. You guys are astute enough to saw what happened upstate. No housing package came out of Albany. Everyone up, if you would ask every elected official in Albany, what's the number one crisis we're facing in the city? Probably the top three, housing is going to be there. So how can we end a session not going with one of our top three issues? I just don't see how that happens.
Oh my God. So there they go, Black family prioritizing everybody over us. Now,
Yeah.
in crisis because these illegal immigrants who were told by their government to come here, now it's a humanitarian crisis. But what's been happening to Black people isn't a humanitarian crisis. I mean, we are on
Well, sir,
emergency, Black family, and they're not looking at it the same way we are. They putting these other groups ahead of us, and enough is enough of it. If they want our vote, they're gonna have to do something specifically for us. Like, this is just ridiculous. What are your thoughts
Yeah, it
about this?
is. Yeah, not only is it ridiculous, Brother Che, but once again, man, all what these black ass politicians is doing, from Copmala on down to this brain dead nigga right here, and excuse me for using that language. That's all what it is, man. There was a syndrome in psychology, the Stockholm syndrome, where the captors, no, I'm sorry, where the captors, the ones that are captured, would identify with their captors.
Yeah.
And this is all this, what you're seeing is with this dumb motherfucker right here. Do you see what I'm saying? Same thing with Karen Bass, London Bridge, let's see, Tim Scott, you know what I'm saying? Other Yas bosses out there.
Or as I call him, Michael Hand Coon.
Yeah, exactly. Uncle Tom Bradley, the mayor of Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Is
Karen.
because yeah, and Karen Bass, she's no damn different. You know what I mean? But the only thing, like I said, the only politician out of California who I halfway had some respect for, but she's up in age, and that would be Maxine Waters. And the reason being about Maxine Waters is because in the 90s with the crack epidemic, as Gary Webb was bringing attention, and may he rest in peace, is because he made the ultimate sacrifice. And he even had stated that when he made his disclosure to Maxine Waters and Julian Dixon at the time, is that it was the feds bringing that shit into the black community. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
They
And he
know it all.
did state,
He just
yes,
confirmed
and he
everything
did.
we're saying,
He
or
just what?
Black Angelinos were saying during that time,
Right.
that government had brought these all these drugs and guns and whatever else
Oh,
into our
absolutely.
to destroy us.
Oh, yes, sir. And then you even had a Ku Klux closet queen kook with his white robe and his cone head. That they need to shove up their asses. Has stated that even them in Chicago will plant guns and illegal substances and what have you. And of course, as you know, they had help, and they
Yeah.
will sit back and laugh at our people killing ourselves, over this bullshit. You see. But you keep in mind, as the anchorman has stated, we only been out of slavery 150 years, but we went deeper into slavery in the last 150 years. Is because, like all our leaders, they assassinated, man. From the 50s, the 70s, even to the 40s, and that's why you had the Deacons of Defense, who was the precursor to the Black Panther Party. And it was very, very interesting is that when black men start arming themselves and protecting their families and their women and what have you, then all of a sudden, you get this counterintelligence program, you
Hmm.
see. And if memory serves me correct, it was a group called the Weathermen in
Yeah.
the late 1960s, that came across these classified documents and that they had made it public. And Hoover had publicly declared the Black Panther Party public enemy number one in 1969, I think. Okay, it's because as you know, Brother Che, and I'm sure General Sekou will tell you, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, is that when Dr. King was assassinated, they went on a rampage. And then also too, you had the origins of the Black Liberation Army as well too.
Yeah.
And the cool part about it is that white America does not want to see armed black militias. So hey, so this is why we give a shout out there to Dynamite and them and Chic Bar down there in Carolinas of the great work of what they do. And same with Dr. Truth Bay as well too, of how she's raising a conscious level. And then on the 29th, which is in about 5 days, if they have
Yeah.
an open forum on the reparations in Sacramento. I am going to talk about their murderous police. I will talk about, the situation that they did with that fucking gold, doing the gold rush, where a lot of plantation owners and slave traders were bringing slaves into California, keeping them ignorant of the fact that once they crossed into the state of California, that they were free, that they were no longer slaves. And the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, which is a notorious organization within itself, just like their counterparts of the Los Angeles Police Department, did inform Ms. Mason in LA County as that, ma'am, once you crossed into California, you are free. You see? And Biddy Mason had also became acquainted with uh, another brother and sister. They were married. They were coming to California as well too. They in turn had also informed her as well, is that once she crossed into California, she was free. But she didn't know it, and so they told the slave master to get the state up out of California. And Miss Biddy Mason stayed and started a business there in the 300 block of South Spring Street in Los Angeles, and that is not too far away from Los Angeles City Hall. And then when you look at LA's skyline, what you see mainly there's downtown Los Angeles, by the Staples Center, what have you, and whatnot, and she prospered. She was similar to Madam C.J. Walker, but she was who started there in Denver, by the
Yeah.
way. Sarah Breedlove was her name, and Ms. Mason started in Los Angeles, and I don't think they were contemporaries, because I think Biddy Mason was before Sarah Breedlove.
Yeah. Sarah Breedlove. Yeah.
Yeah, or Madam C.J. Walker. You know what I mean? And what I understand about Madam C.J. Walker, she was a widow by the time she was 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, barely, into adulthood. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
however, though, the Black experience is perhaps the most dynamic experience on the face of the planet. Now, your Ramaswamis, you motherfuckers out of India, uh, I consider all you motherfuckers untouchables. And I say all of y'all Lord and shit,
Yep.
particularly and particularly.
I gotta run to the bathroom. Just keep talking.
Yes, sir. Okay, and so, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you tuning in here, to our stream out of Frontline Black News. Okay, is that we as a people have built up the economy of the United States, rather directly or indirectly, off the slave trade, which was an industry in itself that contributed greatly to the gross national product of the United States. Okay, not to mention the fact that the slaves themselves were commodities. You could mortgage your slave, you could rent out your slave, you could kill your slave under the Casual Killing Act. Okay, also too, then after 1865 with the Juneteenth in the great state of Texas, they did not even know that they were free. Nobody told them. So then, ladies and gentlemen, what happened after the end of slavery was the sharecropping system, which was another form of slavery, is because they made it a point, to keep the slaves ignorant. They made it a point where slaves cannot read. And the reason why they made it where the slave cannot read is because as long as he is ignorant, he will not realize his condition. Once he starts reading, once he starts thinking, then he starts realizing his condition. And then what happens is he comes on with the Nat Turner moves, okay, the rebellion. And Nat Turner was only 31 years old when they killed him, okay, young man still, okay. Same thing with Sister Harriet Tubman, Black Moses. All right, is that when she was bringing the people north under the Underground Railroad, you had a whole lot of these Negroes who cannot think for themselves. Oh, well, Miss Harriet, we can't go running. We got to get back to Massa. And they say, and then, of course, as you know, what Harriet Tubman would do is that she would level that street sweeper at them and cock both barrels, and she would inform them that you either gonna be free or you're gonna be dead, and you got like about 3 seconds to make up your mind. Okay, see, Black family, that's the dynamics of our history here in the United States. This is why reparations are old. Okay, and it's not just slavery, but also to the Jim Crow era. Once again, the casual killing acts, and then also too of what the police are doing to unarmed Black people, and they are making it a point to demasculate the Black male in the presence of the Black female. So what happens is that in these contemporary times now, is that she doesn't even want to be bothered with Black men. She much rather go with the descendants of the slave owners, and they commonly refer to her as a bed wench. Now, the flip side of this coin is where you would have the white woman who would go after the Black male and would tell the Black male, well, if he didn't do it to the white woman, she would say that he had raped her. So is damned if he do, damned if he don't. You see, so they always make it where Black people cannot win and become self-sufficient. They will sit up there and they will, let them make money off entertainment, pro sports, what have you, which contributes greatly to the gross national product of the United States directly and indirectly. Directly, it benefits off of the basketball teams making money. They thus in turn, buy products, advertisement space, okay, seek out sponsors and what have you. So what happens with that there is it's generating more revenue for them, but the Black player is only getting so much. Now, these Black politicians, who are constantly selling us down the toilet on a regular basis, is because they are handpicked and they're on puppet strings. You see, straight out, they are on puppet strings, Black family. And what we have to do is come together through our cohesion, on I'm not going to use the word street level, but we have to come out with our innovation of our people in the inner cities and raise the conscious awareness of that, we have to take care of ourselves. And this is why you get individuals like Joe Gibson, okay? And then Joe, hey man, if you want to go do some legal shit, we can go that there too. Is because you're going to come on our platform and you're going to disrespect our co-producer. First
Yeah,
place, Joe, he's not a boy. This is a grown man that you are talking about. You
right.
say, and then you're going to send this hateful mail in our chat room, Joe. And we got the transcripts on it. And guess what? We're going to be talking to some legalese people, man. You know what I mean? And hopefully they'll bring your stinking ass down. And Joe
Right.
Gibson, I try to respect you over the years, but you insulted me and our crew here for the last time. We try to reason with you, okay? Now, you got a degree in theology, which is your business, okay? But however, you should respect the fact that there are other groups of people that worship deities in various other ways, okay? is because you see, Joe Gibson, as I stated on your platform, and I will call in again and I will state it again. It was our people, man, that had to show you how to wash your stinking, nasty, funky asses. Okay?
Yeah.
It was Ethiopian women that discovered and developed the concept of feminine hygiene.
Mm,
Okay? So all you other women out there, anytime you see a black woman, you need to be bowing down to her.
right.
And that's for real. Okay? It's because the strength of the black woman is unmatchable. It is the, as they said in the movie Black Panther, the vibranium.
Mm-hmm.
Except today, they call it silicon. And then all you damn colonial bastards of the continent of Africa, from you stinking Germans, you raggedy ass, punk ass British, you
Mm,
Spaniards, you Portuguese, you Greek freaks, you know what I'm saying? You ain't invented nothing. You came
nothing.
and stole other people's knowledge.
Mm,
And then as you barbarized our people over a 450-year period, you colonized the body, you colonized the mind of Negroes like Eric Adams, Tim Scott, Uncle Tom Bradley. You see what I mean? Okay. And then y'all are, in my opinion, all of the likes of the dump, as in human shit. And then also, too, that punk who was the governor of Florida,
oh
I'll
Lord.
call you the panties.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ron, I'm saying that you are a transsexual, no, a transvestite, okay, and that you wear women's underwear, punk. Yeah, I said it. And I stand by that statement. I'm making it plain, DeSantis, you're a punk.
Right.
And I will never spend another goddamn dime in your fucking state. Let her go, let her alone go visit it again. And I hope the spirit of our ancestors that who suffered on the Atlantic slave trade, that next time that the hurricane comes on down, I'm praying that the sisters who suffered on there and on the feminine energy, I hope they wipe that goddamn state off the fucking map. Now,
Right.
for our people who are in Florida, please get up out of there or come up with some innovation, not so much to escape the wrath, but to have the ancestors bypass you and preserve you. You see, oh, and also too, and another thing, Joel Osteen. Yeah, I got a
Lord.
crumb bum on you too, punk, because when they had the hurricane down there in Houston, and I remember Jay Dizzle,
Mm-hmm.
myself, and I believe Jonathan Bourne Jackson, we all did a marathon with our podcast, and we was drumming up support, for the people there and who were suffering from the hurricane. But it's very, very interesting that Joel Osteen did not open up his church for a shelter.
Yeah.
Very,
Got that
very
mega truck down
interesting.
here in Houston.
Yes,
He used to open that
yes, sir.
door.
Yeah, he refused to open the door. You see, so what does that tell you? He's pulpit pimping. You see
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And this is why I appreciate New Era Detroit. When they had put some jackleg on blast who was up there trying to get the people to tithe $1,000 a piece so he could buy a private jet. Okay. And New Era Detroit went down there and they exposed that jackleg. And as a matter of fact, I think we did an episode on that there called Jacklegs, Poverty and Pulpit Pimps, or
Yeah.
something like that. That there was one of our best episodes. And we gave New Era Detroit, their props on that. And then, of course, I received a suspension on Facebook again. You know what I mean? But I am going to have to ease up off of it, is because it took me 5 years to build up the page and the following on it, and definitely check us out on Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced. But I'm thinking we're gonna wind up doing, Brother Che, in the next couple of months, man, is that we're gonna bring Shabaka's Black Experience Enhanced up on the StreamYard side of it. And on the YouTube is because they are just shadow banning us too damn bad because they don't like this truth. But if we went up there and talk some shit about Dwayne Wade's son and no disrespect to Magic Johnson, he has a son that goes by the name of Fantasia. And no disrespect to him, but it's just incredible of how they've gone through all these extra ways and hurdles to effeminize Black men. And then what's happening is with the Black woman, she is going out seeking OTBs to cohabitate with, okay? And I never thought I would say this, but I've seen in my lifetime, and I hope I'm wrong, is the total destruction of the Black family unit. Yeah, I hate to say that. The Black family unit has been hit with an atomic bomb. Yeah, with this alphabetized ass agenda. Then when you look at Copmala Harris, you see what I mean? Going over there, putting on that Academy Award performance over there at Gory Island. She was so full of shit. I say. And that was the point of no return, Black family. When our people were forced upon those slave ships, okay, they never saw home again. And keep in mind, back then, you didn't have the internet. You didn't have the cell phone. Hell, you didn't even have the landline. You didn't even have the transatlantic cable. You see? It's because I think in the 1930s, if I'm not mistaken, or shortly right after World War II, and anybody, they can comment, if I'm wrong or not, is that they had laid the transatlantic cable, which is a huge cable that probably took them a number of years to lay it across the Atlantic Ocean for the United States to communicate with Europe. But now, as you know, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they doing all this shit off of satellites, you see. And then also, too, for those, and I have to say this here, Brother Che, not getting off topic, but here in Las Vegas, talking about they seen some UFOs and what have you, and saw aliens and whatnot. Okay, all I asked for was an intersection here in Las Vegas, so where this event supposedly have happened at, and all I'm getting on it is crickets. But however, you do got a Area 51 out there in the desert of Nevada, and Nevada is 98% desert. You have mountains here and stuff like that, but it's desert. So I'm sure they got a lot of classified places out there, secret, top secret, top secret, bottom secret, and all that. So what the fuck we need to be doing, Black family, is becoming self-sufficient. Okay? We have to turn our backs on Tim Scott. We have to turn our backs on Eric Adams, and we have to turn our backs on London Bridge and the police chief down there, in Memphis, Tennessee, whose husband was a pedophile in Atlanta. See, and we know you bigwigs over there in social media don't like this truth, okay? But you brought it on yourselves. Look how you shadow banned us. You see? Hey, we pay you every month. for our platforms. Other, content creators pay you. You see. But, guys like us, you don't want us to give us the ability to have stars. But if we were sitting up there calling our women a B word and going around with skinny jeans on, you know what I'm saying, then we're okay. But as Dr. Umar Johnson said, fortunately, these motherfuckers cannot reproduce.
Right.
And then, just out of curiosity, let's say the guy go get his dick cut off and filled up with female hormone injections, okay? You're not a woman, you know what I'm saying? The crack of your stinking ass is not a woman's womb. Now,
Right.
what happens to you motherfuckers when you do this shit here at 25 years old? Then when you start getting 40 and 50 and realize, hey, I like pussy. You can't get none no more because you mutilated yourself. Yeah, this is adult content. And the reason why I'm using adult content is because I'm a semi-educated individual, but I'm saying it in language that you understand. And to quote the words of Dr. Huey Percy Newton, that when he went into the Alameda County Court on one of the charges against him, and he proved his point that any statute that is so complicated and ambiguous that cannot be understood by the common person is not a statute.
Right.
And I don't know why Copmala Harris, who is a doctor of jurisprudence, just like Michelle Obama is, just like former President Barack Obama is doctor of jurisprudence, like Larry Elders and Leo Terrell, doctor of jurisprudence, meaning you had to write a dissertation, meaning that you had to write a thesis for your master's degree, also meaning you had to go to 4 years of college in pre-law. You see what I'm saying? But y'all don't address that. You know what I'm saying? And you could beat a whole lot of cases for our people in the court system.
Right.
You really can. And I wonder why Joe Brown ain't even said no shit like that.
Right.
Hey, this shit is ambiguous. These bullshit laws you write up are ambiguous. I'm a common person. I cannot understand it. So therefore, it's not a statute.
Right.
And what happens is they overcharge you with felonies to get you to cop to a misdemeanor. You know what I mean? But they don't want you having this type of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you having knowledge of it. Yeah, yes, sir. They just want you having knowledge enough where to go out there and kill ourselves, to go out there to disrespect ourselves. You see? And then you put these celebrity basketball players in front of us, like Charles Barkley. Oh, slavery wasn't that bad. And also, too, man, didn't we have some brother, man, that made a video, man, on that?
Yep.
Called Resurrection of the Mental Dead. I wonder whatever happened to that brother. Now, I wonder what happened to him.
I wonder what happened to him too.
Yeah, we wish him well. You know what I'm saying? We wish him well. The brother did drop some gems on there. And then also too, Philip Scott, got to give Philip Scott, his credentials as well too. But also too, Mr. Scott, we don't mind you posting in our groups, brother. But hey, man, break us off some bread, man. We want to be just like you when we grow up. You know what I'm saying? But we appreciate the gems that Philip Scott drops. You know what I'm saying? And old Roly Poly Martin. Oh well, Dr. Cornel West. Well, brother, you talking about you running for president on a third-party ticket, and Dr. West, I give you your respect. You are a professor and what have you. But gentlemen, please, we got to become self-sufficient. And I will
Right.
keep emphasizing that to the day that I transition. Because everybody's getting paid off of us except us.
Right.
Say that violates the law of mathematics and economics right there.
Yep.
See? And if it does not follow logic, and if it does not follow certain principles, okay, then there's no reality. I
Right.
mean, let's look at a place called Los Angeles, California, a section of the city of Los Angeles called Hollywood. And then in that circus, folks, it's no reality. It's all illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the video that was made last year from Hollywood Boulevard. And we respect, Spike Lee. We respect Queen Latifah. We respect Oscar Mature. Okay? But this bullshit, man, that they put up there with this dumb shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then they got this movie out called Barbie. They turned Barbie into a movie.
Yeah, they were talking about that dumb shit on the news earlier. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna move along, Shabaka, because we got more topics to get to.
Yes.
Next topic is Sleepy Joe fighting.
Yeah. Hiding Biden. Yeah. Sleepy Joe. The father of a dope fiend, who's probably committed pedophile acts. Then to old Hunter Biden, I think he got pardoned or had some charges against him that got plea bargained down. And then Hunter Biden is out here making videos,
We're gonna touch
consuming
on
narcotics. Yes, sir.
that. See if we can get it to read it.
Hey everyone, I'm David Chalian, the CNN political director. This is the CNN political briefing. Here's what you need to know in politics for Tuesday, June 20th. Some big developments at the intersection of politics and the law. Hunter Biden will plead guilty to federal charges. Donald Trump appears to incriminate himself in a Fox News interview as a brand new CNN poll shows Trump's support may be softening a bit after his federal indictment. In a deal with the Justice Department, President Joe Biden's son Hunter will plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges. He also struck a deal with federal prosecutors to resolve a felony gun charge for obtaining a firearm while he was still struggling with drug addiction. That is all according to court filings from the Justice Department. Sources familiar with the plea deal tell CNN the DOJ will recommend Hunter Biden serve probation for failing to pay at least $200,000 in taxes on time in 2017 and 2018. However, of course, a judge will have the final say on this deal. The DOJ said the investigation into Hunter Biden, led by a Trump-appointed U.S. attorney, is still ongoing. That's despite Hunter Biden's attorney saying in a statement that the 5-year probe into the president's son has been, quote, resolved. We'll have to get a better sense of what DOJ means by the word ongoing. The White House said in a statement that it didn't have any comment other than to say, quote, the president and the first lady love their son and support him. Here's what President Biden himself had to say about the matter while he was out in California today. I'm very proud of my son. Of course, the plea agreement may bring one part of this legal chapter to a close for Hunter Biden, but it's clearly not going to bring the politics around this case to a close. Former President Donald Trump, House Republicans up on Capitol Hill, and the whole cast of 2024 presidential candidates have basically slammed the Department of Justice for the Hunter Biden plea deal. They essentially suggest that this is an example of how the Justice Department has been weaponized for political purposes. Now, of course, there's no actual evidence that the Justice Department is a weaponized piece of government machinery here, but this is an animating life force inside Republican politics. So you can expect to continue to hear Republican leaders talk about a two-tiered justice system, one for elites like Hunter Biden, one for everybody else. Donald Trump has called the system broken in response to this, and many others have referred to the quote-unquote sweet. Donald Trump, Truth Social today, media platform, quote, wow, the Biden DOJ cleared up hundreds of years of criminal liability. Hunter Biden traffic system is broken. And here was Kevin Murphy, the Speaker of the House, voice to almost unanimous chorus Republican response. Firstly, I continue to show the system in America. The president's opponent, he tries to literally push him young. You are the son. You get a sweetheart deal. Biden's attorney, Chris, was on MSNBC and pushed back McCarthy's notion.
It was a 5-year diligent investigation by professional prosecutors, some of whom have been prosecutors, one of whom at least was appointed by President Trump. And even throughout working out the ultimate resolution, they were always dry. They thought was unfair.
Oversight chair about today will keep up investigation in Biden's. This is all happening, says Donald Trump, facing federal charges of his own. A trial penciled in, set for August, but of course that to be delayed. Has already pleaded guilty, while his co-defendant in Nada is set next week. Trump, for his part, attempted to defend himself during a wide-range interview with Fox Brett Baer. He said he didn't come to Justice Department subpoenas to return the documents to National Archives. He was too busy. I just hand them over that because I have boxes. I want to go through them at all my personal stuff. I don't want to marry yet. And I was very busy, sort of seeing Trump's opponents today. Chris Christie said that Trump may have proved obstruction of justice right there in that interview with Brett Baer. Like the former president, he gave his lawyer more of a headache, bargain for. As the charges are planned for Donald, a brand new poll conducted by press gives us insight. Our brand new poll shows rather interesting. Donald Trump's among Republicans is softening a bit. It was taken entirely federal court last week, and what we have found is that if you look at Trump's favorability among Republican leaning in 67% have a favorable view of Trump. That's 10 points from 27% favor in May. Horse race, Trump is 47%. Yes, he is clear, substantial front race.
Wow.
Pause. I don't know why.
DeSantis is next.
Well, it's very, very interesting.
Support. So
I think it's like a
is nothing.
this left.
Is that Donald Trump in May? Who is it 50?
Well, the only thing I can say about that is
also
okay.
in the number of Republicans who say they won't consider Trump for nomination. That's a quarter of the Republican leaders. 23% say that, 16% ruled him out as a name. All of those are potential votes for Donald Trump. We'll see. comes out, the beginning of a trend or just a momentary blip in the aftermath of the indictment are warning signs. Now, in the broader, the indictment is an answer for Donald Trump. Because when you look at the polling results for all Americans, 61 approve of, that includes 2/3 of independent voters approve of the kind of voters would need to win Joe Biden if Donald Trump emerges as the nominee. And Americans
About here.
9% Trump should end campaign for right now.
Okay, you having some type of okay.
Yeah, freezing up. I think in there.
Okay.
In its case. Think that if you
Yeah, internet Shabbat.
Oh man, yeah, that's a good story right there. But it's very, very interesting, you know, with this here being the president's son, you know, who's on dope, you know what I'm saying? And and I mean, I'm not gonna say it's sad, man. The only thing I can say about it is that the hypocrisy of it is real, you know. And then this fool, he
So, go ahead, Shabbat.
okay, and it's just incredible, you know, of how you got the president's son, you know, messed up off of that crap. You know what I'm saying? And then this is a good question. Joe Biden's son is, you know, what if he were black? Well, you could best believe that if he was a black male, he'd be sitting in a state penitentiary doing 25 to life. You know what I mean? And then and then not to mention the fact that they put that garbage in the black community anyway, you know, real heavily. Oh boy, in the 1980s, you know, forgive me for
Okay,
yawning
so
like that. And this dude,
I'm
he's
feeling Shabbat there.
okay, brother Che.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but you're fading in and out.
The internet.
Okay, or it could be
Said it.
them. Yeah.
Don't go. I just talking. I reset the wire.
Okay, brother Che, you still there? Okay, brother Che, you still there? Okay, brother Che, you still there?
Okay, back in the studio. Shabaka.
Okay, brother Che, you still there?
Okay, it looks like I'm back. All right.
Yeah.
Shabaka.
Yes, sir.
Video from Dr. Boyce Watkins about if Joe
Yeah.
Biden's son,
Okay.
Joe Biden's son is a criminal. What if he was black? Video from Dr. Boyce Watkins.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Dr. Watkins.
Excuse me. And I want to welcome everybody and let you guys know that this podcast is on Spotify. If you go to Spotify and look up Boyce Watkins, you can find the Dr. Boyce breakdown. And I want to welcome everybody. As you come in, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, what's up to everybody on Instagram? My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins. I am not going to take a lot of your time. I have an appointment for two things. Two reasons why I'm not going to take a lot of your time today. Is one, it is my birthday, so pour it on me. Give me the happy birthdays. I definitely want.
Happy belated birthday.
I am in the 27th anniversary of my 25th birthday, so I have been practicing.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday to the brother.
And I've gotten really good at it. And then the other reason why I'm gonna bounce out of here is that literally in 17 minutes, I'm gonna do an interview with a very nice lady named Tasha K. Tasha K has a pretty big platform, and she interviewed my wife. And Tasha wanted to interview me, so I said, sure, absolutely. I'd love to talk to you. I look forward to hearing what she would like to ask me. All right, so anyway, as we get started, thumbs up, share, subscribe. So let me talk to you. Let me let you guys know why I felt the need to come in and talk to you guys about this really quickly. Joe Biden's son, Hunter. Give me a yes in the chat if you know who Hunter Biden is. Give me a yes in the chat if you've heard anything about Hunter, if you know who Hunter Biden, what he represents and why he's a controversial figure. There is here's a picture on the screen. And now, if you're on Spotify, you're not going to see the picture, but it's okay. Imagine a very nice-looking Joe Biden clone who's sitting next to him with dark hair. Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's son, and he's a troubled son. He is a guy that is known for, he's known for having a peculiar taste in his crack. He likes his women in his crack, and Hunter has been an embarrassment for that family. I cannot imagine. I can imagine what his father and what his parents must go through. But yeah, we all got a little kooky crackhead in our family. Not all of you. Hopefully you don't. But how many of you? Give me a yes or no if you've got somebody in your family who has been hit by drugs, who is embarrassing everybody, who is not doing what they need to do, not taking care of their kids. So you got to take care of their kids. All right. This is a common problem in many families. This is a very common issue. There's no shame in it. Drugs are terrible. This is one of the reasons why I've repeatedly said I think Black people, if we want to build our community back, we have to be almost angrily, it's not so much about violence, but in terms of energetic violence, I really think that we should just be outraged when rappers are promoting drug addiction and drug use amongst our young people. It destroys your kids, it destroys your families, it destroys your wealth, because your wealth is in your children. So when you get a 17-year-old who thinks it's cool to pop mollies and Percocets and all that, and they're 17 years old, their brain has not yet fully developed, they're getting brain damage. Some of these rappers are close to death. Lil Wayne has literally said he's had seizures. He's also losing his memory at a very young age. So my point is to say that, man, y'all gotta, really, you really gotta take this drug thing seriously. And I don't know if anybody's ever gone through the pain of having a drug addict in your family. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I don't know what that crap be doing to y'all. Y'all who like to smoke and all that. God bless you if you were able to walk away from drugs. But I'm gonna tell you, if you don't start, none won't be done. Just don't try this stuff, man. But anyway, let me get off of that horse, because but that's how I feel. I'm very passionate about that, and that has a direct link to Black wealth. You cannot build wealth in a community full of drug addicts or alcoholics or people that don't want to pull their weight. We have to hold each other accountable, and that means really, really dealing with this issue head on. With that said, Hunter Biden, who is the family crackhead for the Biden family, he just basically pleaded guilty with the feds to resolve some issues involving his failure to pay taxes and also something involving a gun. Now, I'm sure there's other things going on with Hunter that they can pull up, but these are the two things that they chose to sort of deal with.
Uh-oh.
And it says
Okay, froze.
To resolve a 5-year federal investigation under an agreement in a filing in federal court. President Joe Biden's son. Now, pay attention. It's in Delaware. Delaware is Joe Biden's stronghold. That's Joe Biden came out of Delaware. So, how many of you think that being the president's son is going to get you a little bit of preferential treatment in a situation like this? Give me a yes if you think that being the son of the president
is
Hell
going to
yes.
get you a little bit of the homie hookup when you go to
Hell
court.
yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Power, even as they said
Yeah,
it.
man.
So I bring this up not because I'm picking at the Biden family, not because I want them, I want to, talk bad about them or to make fun of a family that's dealing with the tragedy of drugs. I bring it up because I want to ask y'all a question. Give me a yes or no. Do you think that whatever punishment Hunter Biden gets, do you think his punishment will be worse if he were black?
Yes.
Give me a yes or no if you
Yes.
think that Hunter Biden would get a worse punishment if he were a black man. Give me, what do y'all think? And I bring this up.
Yeah.
I asked you this question because if you recall, Hunter's father, Joe, is the architect of one of the most notorious, most draconian, most destructive, most horrific, most nightmarish sets of drug laws in the history of this earth. He came up with these things called the three strikes laws.
1994.
Some of y'all representatives actually supported this nonsense. He came up with these three strikes laws, and I know brothers right now who ain't nearly as bad as Hunter Biden who are still sitting in prison from Joe Biden's drug laws. Still sitting in prison. Daughter ain't been daddy since 1997, not as a free man. And that's the pain that black people go through, and nobody cares about it. Even black people don't care about it. Even you're desensitized to your own pain. Why do I say that? Well, because when I bring this up, people think I'm being a troublemaker. When I bring this up, people think, oh, well, why are you rocking the boat, Doc? Why are you trying to mess up? You sound like a Republican, Doc. No, I say, no. I just want black people to be treated fairly, and I think it's wrong that you've got these laws that were applied directly and strictly to us with no empathy whatsoever, no understanding. The amount of empathy I just gave Joe Biden, I know for a fact he never would have gave that empathy to me. When I talk about what his family went through, if you read the history of the Biden family, everybody I talk about, I read their bio from the very beginning. If you read the history of the Biden family, this man has gone through tremendous amounts of tragedy. He has. His whole family, I think almost his entire family got killed in a car crash. I want to say 30 or 40 years ago. His wife and I think two of his kids, it was crazy. And then his other son died of, I think, brain cancer or something. This was the other son who wasn't on crack, who actually could have been president. And then he's left with Hunter. So this poor guy has gone through it. I respect him for what he has been able to overcome. I empathize with his pain. I get it. But here's the problem. Here's where I have an issue with Joe Biden. The same amount of empathy I give you and your family for what you've gone through, I know you don't give that to black families. I know you don't, because when you gave that speech, if anybody wants to hear an interesting speech, go hear Joe Biden talk about these predators within the inner city with single parents, as he's sitting next to Strom Thurmond, one of the most notorious racists in the history of Congress, right? He's sitting next, he's who he calls his buddy, his mentor. He's sitting there talking about you like you're animals. And so the idea that people think I'm radical for bringing this up absolutely disgusts me. It bothers me that you think that there's something wrong with me, when really we know that there's something wrong with him. And maybe the reason that you're afraid to call it for what it is because you're scared of white folks. Maybe you don't call it for what it is because your self-esteem is too low for you to demand true equality. Maybe you don't call it for what it is because you don't think that we can get what we deserve. We got to settle for whatever we can get. Well, I don't believe that. I don't believe that a white man should get better treatment than a black man. I don't believe that I should empathize with him and he can't empathize with me. I don't believe that his son should get a life sentence while my uncle or my daddy gets a big ass gangster sentence that has him in prison for the next 20 or 30 years. I think that's wrong. And so ultimately what I'm saying to you is that, this Hunter Biden thing, I guarantee you, I would be very shocked if he did any time in prison. Also, the fact that he's doing his little prison thing right now, and Donald Trump is doing his prison thing right now. Donald Trump is on trial. It tells you that your country's run by a bunch of criminals. You got criminals on your left or criminals on your right. You make a choice. I'm not going to tell you which choice to make. I'm choosing to not be involved in that. I'm not voting for Democrats or Republicans. I'm voting for black people. So everybody that comes in and says, oh, you must be a Republican, those are people that clearly are brainwashed or stupid, because I clearly have stated I don't vote for Republicans. However, the fact that you get mad when I don't vote for a Democrat means that you are engaged in voter suppression. You are engaged in voter suppression because voter suppression isn't just telling black people they can't vote. Voter suppression is saying you can vote as long as you vote for who I tell you to vote for. Negro, you better do what we tell you to do. If you show up at the polls and you don't vote for me, then you ain't black. And this is the kind of nonsense that I refuse to accept. I will never accept anybody who tells me what I got to do when I go into the polls. You mind your own damn business. Your business is over there. My business is over here. Never shall the two ever meet. Anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. I just got a call from Tasha K, so I think that she might be ready to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and do this interview in a minute, but I'm going to circle back around on this. And also, I want to mention this too. In case you ever want to know more of my thoughts on this, I wrote about this in 2006, or 2004 actually, in a book called What If George Bush Were a Black Man? George Bush, it reminds me a little bit of Hunter Biden, just a less severe version. George Bush was also the son of a president. George Bush was also a guy who messed around and got in trouble. George Bush was also a guy who made some mistakes in his life. And I wrote what if George Bush were a black man in 2004, because I said, isn't it funny that in this country, that when a white man and a black man commit the same crimes, the black man can have his life destroyed. The white guy might get a second chance. Isn't it funny that when you look at the trajectory of life based on choices, as a black man, I always felt that my margin of error was 2 inches wide, that if I got out of line a little bit, I could end up doing 10, 20, 30 years in prison and nobody would care. Whereas if I'm a white boy, I can go out here, I get drunk, go to parties, act a fool, get in trouble, do all kinds of stuff, and people might be willing to give me another chance. I always thought about when I was on the faculty at Syracuse University, I thought it was really interesting how these white college kids would have parties every weekend, and they would have all kinds of drugs and alcohol and all kinds of stuff going on their campus. And I said, isn't it funny that they will run up in the hood and they will raid a housing project and then send these black boys to prison forever, but then they've never raided a college campus that I know of. I can't think of the last time. I don't remember any time I was at Syracuse University. I was on the faculty for 12 years, 12 or 13. I can't remember. I don't even think about that anymore. But I was on that faculty for more than a decade, and never once did I ever see the popos run up in there and bust down the door with those, those big ass door busters they use. Like, they got those military weapons they use on our people where they traumatize the children, busting them. I have a friend in Kansas City who said that the police 2 times raided her grandmother's house when she was 7, and they didn't even do anything wrong. Grandma wasn't selling no crack. They didn't have no dope in the house. The police busted through the door with those little whatever they call those things. And then they came in, put guns to the head, like pointed guns at the children, and tore the entire house to pieces. And then when they realized they didn't have any drugs in the house, the kids are scared to death. They're screaming. They're traumatized for life. But then when they realized they were wrong, you know what they did? They just said, oh, sorry, and then left them to clean up the mess. You got to get a new door now. You got to go fix your couch because they don't cut holes in the furniture. You got to go clean up all this mess that they made. Battering ram. Thank you for what they call. I call it door buster. Battering ram. That's what it is. So I just really think that you have to have more grace for yourself. That's my point. My point is in bringing up Hunter Biden is not because I want to pick at the Biden family. I don't even care about that. I want to remind you to have grace for yourself and also to increase your self-esteem a little bit. You deserve the same treatment that white people get. You deserve the same opportunities white people get. You deserve the same wealth white people get. So anything that you ask me to accept as a voter, if white people are not accepting the same thing, then I don't want it. If white people are showing up at the polls and demanding something for their vote, well, I want something too. Whatever white people can ask for, I can ask for that also. Do not put me in the Negro box. Stop that. Stop that, because that means you are just as much of an accomplice to racism and racial inequality as any member of the KKK. So that's my 2 cents, guys. That's really a big thing I wanted to share. I got to get out of here. I got to go do this Tasha K thing. By the way, my new book is called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. It is on Amazon. It is a bestseller. Feel free to go take a look at that. Second of all, on voicewatkins.com, there's a training that everybody loves called How to Make Money Without Working. My PhD is in finance. I would love to show you some of that. So feel free to go take a look at that. It's totally free. It won't take long. It'll change your life. And then number 3, the All Black National Convention is happening in October in Atlanta, October 20th. If you'd like to learn more, I put it all on my website, voicewatkins.com, but you can also go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's where B1 people, intelligent black people from around the world get together and we solve our own problems. We must solve our own problems. We must come up with our own solutions. We must lean on our own scholars. We must support our own businesses. We must educate our own children. We can do all these things. We have everything that we need. The biggest thing that we need is to get together and come together and support each other. If we do that, then we cannot be stopped. That is what we're going to do at the All Black National Convention, October 20th in Atlanta, allblacknationalconvention.com, or you can go to voicewalkers.com. I put the information there to make it easy for you. Anyway, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. This podcast is on Spotify. Just look me up on Spotify if you want to just listen as opposed to watch. I got to go and hang out with y'all for a little bit.
Yeah, we got to get it up on Spotify ourselves.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, everything that Dr. Watkins was saying, man, you know, is basically self-sufficiency, man, to put it in a nutshell. That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So, and that there's a factor of Pan-Africanism right there. You see, and what it is, you know, it's got to get them colonizers off of the continent. You know. Yeah, let's see, because you know, how you gonna have the world's most populated continent not being able to produce the future generations? You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, what you want with the anchor, man? Ramel.
Anchorman, what's going on?
All right, so we were just finishing up talking about Jim Crow Biden's son, Hunter Biden, and him getting a plea deal. And if he was black and not the president's son, would he be treated the same way?
No.
Yeah, hell no. What are your thoughts, Ramel?
I think that dealing with the people, the government people, there's some nepotism going on there. You know, they take care of their own, man. They know how to grease the palm and do for themselves. And they ain't showing us no love. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
All right, we're in accordance with that. So I'm gonna move us on to the next topic because it's starting to get late. It's almost midnight here.
Okay.
Our next topic is James Ray III dies in jail. James Ray III dies in jail while awaiting sentencing.
Okay, enlighten me on that, brother.
We're both gonna be enlightened because I didn't read the article. I just pulled it up.
Okay.
Shared it a few days ago. Let's start this video over.
Riverside, Florida, 98 people were killed in what the town calls the worst non-weather related disaster in that state's history. As CBS 2's Manuel.
Okay, here we go.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Load up. Okay.
Hey, did General Shabaka, did you tell General Paris about that information I told you?
Hold on. No.
His girlfriend, James Ray III, died in jail after he was awaiting sentencing. Essex County officials say the 60-year-old had a medical emergency in his cell yesterday. He was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Last month, Ray was convicted in the shooting death of Angela Bledsoe in their Montclair home in 2018. While Ray's cause of death is not yet known, officials say a sergeant who found him administered Narcan. Let's get another check on that forecast, see if people can actually make it out tomorrow.
So Montclair, New Jersey, James Ray III, a New Jersey lawyer, convicted of killing his girlfriend, dies in jail as he is awaiting sentencing. Essex County officials say Ray had a medical emergency in his jail cell Sunday. This is last Sunday. He was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Ray was 60 years old. Inmate Ray was convicted in the shooting death of Angela Betzel in their Montclair home in 2018. Ray's cause of death is not known, but officials say a sergeant who found him administered Narcan. Okay, that's it. What are your thoughts?
No comment on my part. No comment on my part. I really don't even know what to say there.
What are your thoughts, Shabaki?
Okay, on that right there, is that too bad, man? He didn't live long enough to get sentenced. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, you know, man, and it just goes to prove once again the double standard, man, and the hypocrisy that they have in the judicial system, you know, one for us, okay, and then of course, you know, the other judicial system for the other groups is a hell of a lot more better for them than us, is because, as you know, is that any time, man, that you get arrested, they want to hit you with a felony to get you to plea bargain to a misdemeanor. So therefore, you know, that's still a conviction against you. Now, in California, under this 3 strikes law, you know, 3 felony convictions, man, meant 25 to life. But as I stated before, you know, on a podcast and on a previous episode, if you get hit with 2 misdemeanors, they're going to count that there as 1 strike. Get hit with 2 more misdemeanors, man, that's got your second one. And on the third one, man, you're gone for life. You see, for life.
Right.
And that's how California, you know, has that bullshit rigged, man. You know, because see, as we all know, when it comes to the legal game, man, you got all kind of speak, double speak, and triple speak. You feel me? And then too, from what I understand, is that a lot of the laws that you got, you know, came out of well, I'm not going to say the Roman Empire, but it was just simply say the Roman invasion of Kemet, and right along, you know, with the fuck boys out of Greece. You see,
Right.
I mean, you know, these dudes is up here fucking each other in the ass, man.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Ramil.
Okay, do you know where innocent to proven guilty comes from, General?
Do I know where that comes from?
There's a term.
Not off the top of my head. Enlighten me.
King Hammurabi out of Babylon.
Out of Babylon.
A lot of that is the judicial stuff comes from business.
Interesting. Okay.
King Hammurabi.
King Hammurabi.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm moving us on. Told you that Stop Asian Hate was an attack on Black people. Where is our anti-hate crime bill? Biden and Cop Harris. Shout out to Phil Scott. He did a podcast days ago. It says how Democrats, liberal media, and AAPI, meaning the Asian American Pacific, I forgot what the I stands for. Islander community lied on Black Americans during the scandemic.
Yeah. And it's a pandemic, it's a scandemic.
Take a little trip back in time a few years ago during the pandemic. During the pandemic, there were a rise in attacks on Asian Americans. Every time we looked up, we saw news reports talking about Asians being attacked and saying it was a major epidemic at the time. And we were blamed for it. Black Americans were blamed for attacking Asians. We were propagandized. We was, oh boy, we was the most horrible people in the United States of America. We noticed a trend at the time here, definitely in the Black media, that these attacks kept coming out of California and New York. Not all over the country, just focus on those two liberal states. And we saw what happened later. Let's get into just building up our evidence and talk about who's the real perpetrator of attacking Asian people. And then we also going to address the Asian community as well after we talk about this. So a Dr. Janelle Wong, she put out a report, I think maybe about 2 years ago, that talked about who is the true perpetrator. What we're going to do, we're going to just head over to look at some things, because we want to give you all the knowledge we have, I said, before we really start going in. So let's check that out. So this is the article we're going to start off with. We got a few things to cover today. So you see this article here said viral images show people of color as anti-Asian perpetrators that misses the big picture. This was in NBC News. Now they say a new analysis reveals misconceptions about perpetrators, victims, and the general environment around anti-Asian hate incidents, that these can have long-term consequences for racial solidarity. Now, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I'm going to read part of it. Then we're going to go to her actual study. Now, they say, while news reports and social media perpetrate the idea that anti-Asian violence committed mostly by, they say, people of color. No, you said Black Americans. Stop saying that crap. They say a new analysis shows the majority of attackers are white. They say Janelle Wong, professor of American Studies at the University of Maryland, College Park, as they released analysis last week that drew on previously published studies on anti-Asian bias. That she found official crime statistics and other studies revealed more than 3/4 of offenders of anti-Asian hate crimes and incidents from both before and during the pandemic have been white, contrary to many of the images circulating online. Let's go to her study, shall we? So this is her study, Beyond the Headlines, prepared by Dr. Janelle Wong, Asian American Studies Program, University of Maryland. It was released 6/7/2021. She talked about her key takeaways with this. I'm not going to read this all the way through. I want to just point out things that's important to us. So as we scroll down here, they talk about the percentages of hate crimes, how they increased. But then when you break down the numbers in New York City, they say between 2019 and 2020, the largest increase in reported anti-Asian hate crimes were in New York City, 3 to 28. Now, if you see the number, like if they don't tell you the actual numbers and say, boy, hate crimes increased on Asians 833%, you're like, oh my God, what is happening to them people? Then you look at the raw numbers and it shows 28. Now, of course, nobody should be attacked based on nobody's race, gender, disability, the different things that people are protected by. You shouldn't do that, okay? But 3 to 28. And Sacramento, 1 to 8. But on the headlines, they say Asians were attacked in Sacramento, an increase of 700%. Do you see what happens when you break down the raw numbers? When they give you these percentages, when they give you and they tell you per capita, say, I don't want that. Give me the raw numbers. Give me the raw data. I need that. I don't want to hear your per capita crap. I don't want to hear your percentages. Give me raw numbers, okay? That always usually get them when you look at the raw numbers. Now, let's continue. They talk about how the racist incidents against other non-white groups demonstrate the endemic nature of hate faced by Asian Americans and other groups. Of course, they talked about law enforcement data in 2019, talking about anti-Black hate crime reports. They say drop, but say black because Black people make up a disproportionate share of hate crime victims. Black people were still the most targeted racial group. In 2019, 58% of the reported hate crimes were motivated by anti-Black bias. 14% were anti-Latino bias and 4% anti-Asian bias. Yet the Asians got a hate crime bill and we did not. The people that was attacked the most for anti-Black hate did not get protection, but the people that were attacked the least got a hate crime bill. Okay? Now, we get to all of that. We'll break all that down. Just give me a second. We scroll down to number 8. The majority of perpetrators in anti-Asian hate crimes
and hate incidents identified as white, though data are often missing on race of perpetrators. Viral videos featuring Black perpetrators have been circulating on social media. It is critical to contextualize social media and news coverage of such incidents, as research shows that the media and crime news overreport and overrepresent Black suspects. Yeah, we know that. This is why the Black media is important. Now, they say official law enforcement statistics compiled by Dr. Yan Zhang, they say, and colleagues in a study published in 2021 show that compared to the proportion of offenders in anti-Black and anti-Latino hate crimes, the proportion of offenders in violent anti-Asian hate crimes are more likely to be non-white, but that 75% of offenders in anti-Asian hate crimes are white. And they say that data was compiled from 1992 to 2014. So I'm going through all this just to show you how we were propagandized. Now, let's go to the reporting here from Federal Bureau of Investigation, Crime Data Explorer. So we'll go back to 2019. We'll look at that. This is reported all over the country, okay? We'll look at that. So this is focused completely on hate crimes, okay? Hate crimes. And in 2019, according to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, there were 1,972 anti-Black hate crimes. Anti-Asian, according to what the Federal Bureau of Investigation put out, was 161, okay? In 2020, it arose to 279, but look at Black Americans, 2,871 victims of hate crimes. In 2021, 2,229 victims of hate crimes were Black Americans, and Asians went up to 305. If you go down here to the offender who's committing the crimes, it is the white supremacists. They're leading in the crimes, okay? Now, I want to show you a clip to follow this up. I want you to remember the propaganda they was putting out there about us as Black Americans attacking Asians, and this is coming from liberal CNN. So let's go ahead and roll that.
Flash me from cheek to cheek with a box cutter.
Noel Quintana was attacked on a packed subway in New York last month at the height of the morning rush hour.
There's really a lot of blood oozing. So I was so afraid.
Afraid he would die on his way to work after encountering this man, identified here by New York police.
He told me to go back to China.
In Los Angeles, 27-year-old Denny Kim says he was punched in the face by two strangers. The LAPD investigating the case as a hate crime. On Thursday, police say a 36-year-old Asian man who was stabbed from behind in New York's Chinatown is now in critical condition.
Now you have some data just from Dr. Janelle Wong that admitted, based on data, the people who was attacking Asian people was not Black Americans. So you remember when we kept looking at these particular reports in a loop. But we have a story that we want to look at once again, the true perpetrator of attacking Asians. Let's go ahead and look at that real quick. Just an example of the true perpetrators of anti-Asian hate. As you can see here on the screen, a stabbing of a student of Asian descent was motivated by race. Suspect allegedly said. Now another U.S. community is pushing back on anti-AAPI hate. Now you say here the suspect in an unprovoked attack. It's allegedly said she was motivated by race. They say when she repeatedly stabbed the victim, they say a student of Asian descent at Indiana University last week on a city bus, according to court documents in the student group. They say what appears to be the latest of a swell of anti-Asian discrimination nationwide. Billy Davis, 56 years old, who is white, has been charged with attempted murder, aggravated battery, and battery by means of a deadly weapon in the January 11th attack in Bloomington. Court records obtained by the CNN affiliate WTHR show. It was not immediately clear if she had an attorney. Now, back in May, as we saw earlier, they signed a hate crime bill for the Asians, but it's interesting. This woman said that she attacked an Asian person based on their race. She attacked them. And she was not charged with a hate crime bill. See, that bill is supposed to get black folk. You're supposed to get white folk. Let's continue. It said Davis and the victim have been riding separately on the bus, and when the victim, it said, tried to exit, Davis got up from her nearby seat, allegedly stabbed the victim in the head with a folding knife, leaving puncture wounds. Is there a probable cause? Affidavit says Davis later allegedly told investigators she used the knife to stab the victim because she was Chinese, saying it would be one less person to blow up our country. After stabbing, Davis got off the bus, walked away, and discarded the knife before authorities got to her. It states the victim was rushed to the hospital. According to the documents, her condition isn't known. It said surveillance footage from the bus showed. It said no confrontation between Davis and the victim before the attack. The document says. Now I just want to just cover that to show you the true person who's out here attacking Asians. I built all that up just to say this. Now, in May 2021, Biden was just in office. He wasn't even in there 6 months, and he had signed a hate crime bill for them. But when it came to the white woman, she was in charge of the hate crime bill. Notice that? I always tell people, you try to play footsies of white supremacy if you want to. They'll let you get away with doing things to us. When it comes to them, they're not going to punish their people like that. But when Biden got in office, the same guy that said that he had our back,
especially those moments, and especially those moments where this campaign was at its lowest ebb, the African-American community stood up again for me. You've always had my back, and I'll have yours. Always had my back, and I'll have yours. Always had my back, and I'll have yours.
It was CNN, MSNBC, all these liberal outlets that a lot of you black people watch. They were the ones beating the drum saying that black Americans were attacking Asians. They had access to all this data way before Dr. Janelle Wong put it out, but they was on code to try to get something for the Asian community. This man said he had no back, and you saw the numbers. You saw how black people was disproportionately attacked. Every year, anti-black hate crimes lead all the time. Yet we don't have an anti-black hate crime bill. And the despicable Congressional Raccoon Caucus, they voted for the Asian hate crime bill. They could listen every other time that we get something. They always say black and Asian, black and Hispanic, black and LGBT, black and white women, black and it's black and. But when they give it to somebody else, it's just them. A Congressional Black Caucus is supposed to be fighting for black people on the Hill, right? But no, they're only there to be a Democrat agenda. That's it. And all of them voted for that COVID-19 hate crime bill. The one time they could have said, hey, wait a minute. Now, I'm going to stand up and say, look, I got all the FBI statistics right here. And every year, black Americans are leading as victims of hate crime. So it is only right that we add black Americans to this bill. If you look at those statistics, after black Americans, they say anti-Jewish is actually after black Americans. They didn't even add them to the bill. But what do you have a Congressional Black Caucus for if they don't fight for black people? They fight for everybody else but black people. But that's a black people problem because all you out there, you go vote for them. They do nothing for black people. If the Congressional Black Caucus won't do nothing for us, how we can really make the Democrats do something for us, if you really think about it. We have to check them first, and we have to start moving them around first. But the bad part is, and I got to see with my own two eyes, the civil rights generation, oh my God. Oh, that one time I had a conversation with a group of them, when it came to Al Green here in Houston, we know Al. I said, okay, what did Al do for you? Okay, you know him. What did he do? None of them could answer what has he done for them. Because they on that, oh, he looks like me. So freaking what? The devil could look like you. You gonna vote for him too? You know what I'm saying? So all this information came out. No anti-Black hate crime bill. See, that's why we preach about an anti-Black hate crime bill. We preach about it because we need to be protected.
Right.
Asians increase, and not a dramatic increase like it would be Black people, and they got protected. So yes, we need to keep talking about an anti-Black hate crime bill. Yes, we need to keep talking about reparations because the data always back up what we're saying. We're not just talking out of our the sky, like nothing happened, nothing going on, no kind of data, anything to quantify what has happened to Black folk. But let me talk to the Asian community here for a minute. Asian community, not one time have you came out and apologized to Black America. You went along with it when you know who was attacking you. You know who was attacking you. And you went along with a few of y'all. I've seen a couple of videos, just a few of y'all on TikTok and certain ones saying, no, it's not Black people attacking Asians. I even posted to some of them at the time. But the majority of you went along with the lie. You went along with the propaganda. Your representatives with Grace Ming and all them other ones, they went along with it to make sure you got a protection. And I want y'all to notice something, Black people. When I say we're on our own, when Dr. John Henry Clark said we have no friends, that shows you right there. Because if they really was our friend, listen to me, if they were really our friend, they would say, you know what? It is the white supremacists attacking Asians, and white supremacists are attacking Black people too. So you know what? Hey, let's get Black people as well. Let's join with Black people. We both are being attacked. Let's have solidarity. Biden administration, don't just put us on there, put Black people on there too. Did they do that? No. All the years Black people have subsidized their community. All those years. Shopping in their stores. Buying stale food a lot of times. Sometimes they got illegal activity going on in some of their places. We know the massage parlors was going on. And you know the white man allowing that to go on. They would never let Black people set up a shop like that. You imagine it wouldn't even last not even 30 days if Black people had massage parlors like that. And trafficking women from Africa and trafficking women from the Caribbean to go work in some massage parlors and telling them, well, you got to go in there and do something strange or some change to pay off your ticket and all your airfare and everything else we paid for. And you need to work all day. You living in that massage parlor too. See, they won't let Black folks get away with no organized crime. Well, that's considered organized crime. You understand? But they sat there. They knew they were lying on us, and they did not say anything. So when I tell y'all that we are on our own as Black people, we have no collective friends. Because everybody show us they behind every time.
Yeah.
There may be some individuals in the Asian community as cool as hell, but we talking about the collective. Listen, the collective of no group likes us like that. What I have learned, because see, at first, when I was naive, I didn't know a whole lot. Okay, we thinking it's just the white supremacists themselves, right? Okay, we got to document the history with them. But what we have seen is that with the influx of all the different groups coming in here, we are seeing that these other groups feel just like the white supremacists do, and they all have anti-Black sentiment. And they love to click in with the white supremacists. Look at that Vivek Ramaswamy guy, Indian, East Indian. He won't try to build his campaign off of what he thinks. He want to go in there talking bad about Black folk. Like, that's all you got to talk about is how bad Black folks are? You tell people you're going to do to fix the country. Why are you worrying about what Black folks got going on? But that's an immigrant coming in here talking down on Black Americans. And for what? And it's sad that we got people within our own community come in here. Some come in here with that. Some from the motherland, some from the Caribbean, some from Latin America who look like us, coming here with those sentiments as well. And we ain't doing you nothing.
Right.
Now, a lot of them are starting to wake up. I'm seeing now. I got a video I got to cover about, one of these is one of the African immigrants who really breaking that down, how some can. But I also understand by traveling, the U.S. Embassy vets who they let in, and they want the raccoon class to come in. They may have some riders that slip in underneath the radar, but they mostly want the raccoon class because they were no good in their homeland. And you go back to their homeland and talk to the people that they'll tell you they wasn't no earthly good. They wasn't crap over there. But the Asian community went along with this. And check this out, ladies and gentlemen. The Asian community don't even vote for the Democrats like that. They don't even show up for the Democrat Party. You would think that Biden would have 90+% of the Asian community coming out and voting for him in 2024. With all what he did for them. And they still won't show up for Biden. At least for black people, if Biden did something for us like that, hell, I'll be showing up for Biden. I'll be speaking good about it. I'll say, hey, man, Biden gave us an anti-black hate crime bill. Hey, we can go vote for Biden, man. Shoot, we can get something else out of him. I would have been the biggest promoter of Joe Biden. But the lying to black people, no. Giving everybody else something that's not even trying to vote for you, oh, no, I got to say something about that. And I will continue to say something about that, whether a lot of you like it or not. Maybe you find with not getting anything. Maybe you find when people are not treating you any kind of way. Maybe you find with not being protected. But I'm not good with it. I got children, okay? And they should be protected. Why? Because my children are black, they shouldn't be protected, but another child is Asian, they're protected. That's not right. They always love to talk about everybody, but they don't talk about protecting everybody. They don't talk about everybody having decent pay and opportunity. They don't want everybody to have that. So yeah, I'm gonna say something about it. If I don't say something about it, who else will? Because nobody else gonna advocate for black people. So who else got to advocate for our children? We got to do that. We are on our own. We got to be on code with each other. If you are black and need the sound of my voice, we need to be on code with each other, no matter where you come from. Because if you think those of you who come here that you're gonna be the good blacks and the blacks of the education and the blacks that don't cause trouble, man, you about to be the one. You are sitting ducks to be attacked. Let me tell you something. There's nothing you can do to make the white supremacists get off your back. Because some of you think that you're successful, that actually make you more of a target. Actually, because the white supremacists can't stand to see black people doing good. They don't care if you come from Nigeria. They don't care if you come from Senegal. They don't care if you come from Trinidad. They look at you as black, and they can't stand that. And they're going to look at you as worse because they're going to say, oh, right. Over here, and they take it from me. That's what they're going to say. And a lot of your children that's born here, they understand and they finding out the hard way about a whole lot of things. So black people need to be on code, period, over here, because I'm telling you, brothers and sisters who have some of those thought processes, you will learn the hard way. And then all we're going to do is look at you and like, try to tell you, we tried. And I don't want you to learn in a way that you're not here no more either, because some of you have learned that way. And I don't want you to learn that way. It's better listen to us. What we talking about, we know the devil. And we know all the people that are trying to ally with the devil. But the Asian community never apologized, man, for lying on us. Never. The Asian community never even speak up for black people. We even talk about the lawmakers and say, okay, we need to make this right by trying to advocate for black people to have certain things. Or we need to help them with laws and all of that. No. So we're on our own. We don't owe nobody nothing. We owe no group nothing. We don't owe nobody no help, no allyship, no loyalty. We don't owe nobody anything. And I don't want to see any of you out here acting like you freaking the Avengers to go save other groups. Since they had a lot of them groups collectively have anti-black racism, you're on your own. Don't be calling us. Don't be saying, yeah, this is just like what happened to black people. No, it's not. No, it's not, because you're not black, so you can't compare. Unless you black, that's the only time you can have that conversation. You're not going to be sitting up here using us and comparing what we go through so you can get something out of it. Because none of you got really anything that you can really fully complain about like we do, because statistics bear that out. So you got to try to ride the wave of our oppression and our pain to try to get you something out of the mix. But I just want you to see how other groups are willing to get with the white supremacists to straight lie on us, to lie, so they can get something. And they don't even apologize. They don't acknowledge anything. Like I said, I always tell people, this is why we gotta support each other, be on code, and ride for us, man. Protect our culture, gatekeep our culture, very, very hard. Because one thing I can say our African brothers and sisters and Caribbean brothers and sisters have finally taught us is that we need to guard our culture and gatekeep our culture. And I actually appreciate you guys for doing that, because we've been needing to do that as a community. And because we just kind of had this all-inclusive mindset, it kind of hurt us in a lot of ways. But that's okay. Like I said, we fixing it, and we appreciate, a lot of you for sparking that in us, right? Because I believe all of our cultures are special. All of our cultures need to be respected, and all of our cultures need to be gatekeeped. I agree with that 100%. It's like Juneteenth. It's Juneteenth. Today is Juneteenth, this evening, and we have to gatekeep that. Gatekeep it hard. We cannot allow colors to come in and flags to come in that has nothing to do with Juneteenth. Juneteenth is about red, white, and blue. That is a Juneteenth flag. It's not about Pan-Africanism. I love Pan-Africanism. I agree with unification globally with all black people. But when it comes to our culture, that's not the flag that we're waving today. We're waving the flag for Juneteenth. I also say, and I also want to practice this, even with my branding and everything else, that for Juneteenth, we're going to start on our platform, definitely on the African diaspora, and if you go over there, you'll kind of see it. We're going to make sure our logos change for Juneteenth. Next year, I'm going to make sure anything that we have is going to be Juneteenth themed in the month of June, the whole month. It's not going to be just Juneteenth today. We celebrate Juneteenth the whole month. You know how some people celebrate their birthday a whole month? We need to celebrate that a whole month. That is to commemorate the freedom of our ancestors off that plantation. We should be celebrating that for a whole month. And that's my, thought process about that. Juneteenth will be, of course, other things that we're going to do as well to celebrate other things, but definitely Juneteenth is going to be it. Juneteenth it should be a month. Our month to celebrate the freedom of our ancestors, not just one freaking day. And if anybody else has something to say about it, I don't care. We're going to do what we do and celebrate our people like we need to.
Right.
But let me know what y'all think about, this whole situation. Just remember, what Dr. John Henry Clark said a long time ago was the best statement ever. Have no friends.
Right.
Marianne Williamson's campaign is completely collapsing. And this is one of many reasons why over the last year, I've stressed quite a bit, or I should say I have stressed a lot on the importance of local politics and focusing on taking control of our local politics in our respective cities, counties, wards, and states, because it is significantly easier to raise up local grassroots candidates and raise money for them to get them into local office than it is for us to be able to count on and properly steer in the right direction those that are running for president of the United States, right? Oftentimes when it comes to presidency, those who rise up as someone, whether they be man or woman, who may possibly be a potential candidate of interest that Black Americans should look into as it pertains to them possibly having concrete transformative legislation that's for Black Americans, or by way of supporting reparations. Many times what we'll see is that things either end up getting silly very quickly, the candidates turn out to look and become very unserious, or they just turn out to become a big disappointment, to say the very least. Last night, I did a stream on Cornel West, and I was extremely disappointed with what I had to reveal concerning his lack of a Black agenda on his political campaign website. And when he was on Fox News, asked a very direct question on the impact of illegal immigration on the Black community, he was unwilling to tell the truth about it. He spoke in circles. I could say a lot more, but I'll leave that there concerning my disappointment with Cornel West. But then we move over to Marianne Williamson, who many of us have entertained and were willing to consider solely off of the strength that she says she supports reparations. She does have it on her political campaign website. So off the strength of that alone, many of us were and are willing to at least consider her. But she's also someone as well that when you sit and you listen to her speak, things just get silly very quickly. She starts talking about the moons, the stars, and the chakras, and how we need love to heal the nation through our soul, and we have to collect the 7 Dragon Balls so that we can summon Shenron and make our 3 wishes and things of that nature, right? It just gets foolish very quickly. And then as things move along, as we've seen, or as we are currently seeing right now with the article that's in front of you, her campaign is completely unraveling right in front of our very eyes. And the real presidential race hasn't even gotten started yet. It hasn't even gotten started yet, and things are already falling apart. So to get into more detail on that, I'm going to read some of this article here from Political, titled Marianne Williamson Loses Second Campaign Manager in 2 months, right? So let's get into it. Marianne Williamson has lost her second campaign manager in as many months in what has proven to be a rocky 2024 presidential bid. Rosa Calderon's departure was announced Monday on a small far-left podcast, The Vanguard, and independently confirmed by 2 sources to Politico, granted anonymity to discuss internal staffing dynamics. One person familiar with the campaign said that Calderon quit. She tried to right the ship and lead this campaign. Marianne knocked her down every chance she got, the person said. Calderon was first hired as a fundraiser for Williamson's campaign in late April, and then took on the job in May after then interim campaign manager Peter Dow stepped down along with deputy campaign manager Jason Call. Calderon's experience in such roles was limited. She ran for Congress in 2018, but lost. During that campaign, she was sentenced to probation after allegedly stealing money from a local Democratic Party group to spend on gas, movie downloads, and Bottle Rock Music Festival tickets. My God. She had also embellished her resume, calling herself a director of development when she was in fact a contractor at a progressive nonprofit, Our Revolution. Williamson, the campaign press secretary, and Calderon did not respond to a request for comment. Williamson is running on a long shot campaign in the Democratic primary, her 3rd bid for public office since 2014, and hit a polling high of 9% in a Fox News Democratic primary poll. But since the campaign launched in March, staff have been fleeing the team. There have been at least 7 departures in the last month. The campaign raised less than $1 million in the first quarter of 2023, and it is not running any broadcast advertising. Williamson hasn't been on the campaign trail for the last several weeks. Instead, she has been doing virtual events so she could be in London for the birth of her first grandchild. She has been hosting online roundtables, which she calls Firelight Chats, but has not traveled to any of the early voting states in April. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I think it is more than safe to say that Marianne Williamson's campaign is dead. I know it's very early on. I know a lot of us, some of us, had high hopes and wishes that maybe she was someone we can get behind because she actually supports reparations publicly. But the reality is that her campaign is completely falling apart. It doesn't appear that even in her third go around, she really knows much of what she's doing. It doesn't appear that she's learned much. Granted that this is her third go around. And like I said, in general, when you listen to any interview with Marianne Williamson speaking on America, society, social issues, everything in a very silly fashion comes back to love and all types of metaphysical talk about the soul and the spirit, and things like that are okay in just general conversation. Stuff like that is cool if it's just a general basic interview and I'm just getting your perspective. But when we're talking about you running for president, I just need a straightforward answer. And the same thing goes for Cornel West as well. And it's one of the things that I'm starting to notice is aggravating a lot of people. In general conversation, in a general just typical interview where you're listening to Cornel West speak on the world, America, society, and social issues, a lot of the over-explaining that he does is cool and is entertaining and worth listening to, depending on if that's the kind of stuff you like listening to, is cool. But when you're running for office and I'm asking you a simple question like, hey, Cornel, what time is it? And you start talking to me about blues and jazz and Miles Davis and somehow tying that into Martin Luther King, that's just going to make people check out. I just need a simple answer. I asked you what time it is. Brother, just tell me what the time is. I don't need to know about Miles Davis, the blues and jazz and Mother this and all this other type of stuff. And Brother Trump, Brother DeSantis, and come on now. Come on. And in closing, like I stated at the beginning of this video, this is why I have stressed heavily on the importance of local politics and taking care of our own backyards. I really believe that that's the way. We have to take care of our own backyards, and that's where we need to start by way of local politics. So with all that being said, that does it for today's video. Please make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you'll be notified whenever I release a new video. All social media links will be pinned in the comment section below. I also have a Telegram group now, so if you have Telegram, make sure to hit the link in the description box below as well as pinned in the comment section to join my Telegram group. And also, please make sure you text TD Hip Hop to number 33222. That's TD Hip Hop to number 33222. That way you'll get a text notification whenever I release a new video, but it also serves as an insurance plan for myself. So in case YouTube ever gives me the axe, I'll be able to send you a direct link to where you can find me next. And last but certainly not least, for those of you who have a love and appreciation for the work that I put in on this channel, the number one way you can show your support is through Patreon. For only $3 a month, that will help put me in position to take TD Hip Hop Media off of YouTube. Remember, the goal is not to grow big on YouTube, but to grow independent of YouTube. And for those of you who have issues with joining Patreon, you can also hit the join button that's next to the subscribe button. And that way you can become an official channel member for as little as $3 a month as well. And lastly, if you haven't already, please make sure you join the emailing list. There is no way that I can go independent of YouTube if I cannot take the audience with me. And the link to that will be pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you for your time. And until the next video, peace.
Peace. Yeah, and on that note, Black family, I am having the hardest time staying up. So I'm going to end this part 1 of season 3, episode 12 of the Front Line Blacc. Thank y'all for tuning in. Looks like somebody fell asleep too. So,
well, tonight on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we need to review
later on today. So make sure you stay tuned for that. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe to all of our platforms: Front Line Blacc News, the Revolutionary Agenda, and Survivors Black Experience Enhanced. So peace, love, light, reparations, and separations, and Black empowerment. Later on today, the brand new part 2 of season 3, episode 12 of the Front Line Blacc News. Peace, love, light, reparations, and separations, and Black empowerment. We'll catch you on the next show. Peace.